Hello, everyone. My name is George Waxmansky. I'm the UE Eastern Region President. I've been the president for the last 5 years, and I'm running for re-election in March, and I'm asking for your vote. The Eastern Region's grown a lot over the last 5 years. When I first came into office, we had a budget of about $200,000, and we brought in about 240,000. As of this year, it looks like we'll have a budget of about 240,000, but the good news is we're going to bring in about 380,000. So the region's growing in large part to the work of the National Union and the organizing team. But as Eastern Region President, I've been all over the region, 13 states and the District of Columbia. I've visited 44 out of 46 of our locals since I've been president. I try to get around to every part of the region twice a year and offer to visit each and every local as I'm coming through. And so I've been out there a lot every year, twice a year, visiting with locals, members at meetings, before work, after work, wherever folks can meet. So I get around. One of the first things that I did was to institute in our financial practices that the region president must submit a copy of his expense report to the local financial secretary and the trustees once every month. This was never done or was never required to do, but it's now required to do it. They don't have this requirement in the Western region. So I wanted to do that for transparency and for education so that our trustees would see a little more in-depth information about the expense report, all the receipts that I submit anyhow for the Eastern region. We added a travel subsidy that if you're driving over 400 miles or 600 miles, it's an little extra money for travel to come to the Eastern Region meeting, since some folks do have to travel great distances. On the Eastern Region website, I added a place right on the front page that you can join a caucus for if you are want to be part of a women's caucus, LGBTQ plus, African American caucus, international caucus. We're actively promoting the caucuses. Though the Western region doesn't have this, and the national doesn't have this. They support caucuses, but they're not doing as much as we are. On our website as well, we have a place for latest news, and under that is a tab for newsletters. The Eastern region is the only region that has ever put out an Eastern region newsletter. The Western region doesn't do it. The Eastern region never did do it. I started to do it 2.5 years ago as I was traveling, again, twice a year through the whole entire region, meeting with workers, meeting with leaders, taking a few snapshots and talking about their stories. So on that Eastern region website, UE Eastern Region, you can see all my work. Go there, take a look through that. Just look through the region newsletters. You can see place after place, local after local, small locals, big locals, medium-sized locals, every local, pretty much that I've been to over the course of those newsletters. So it shows my work, and ask you to take a quick look at that. I also created a QR code. It's on the last page of the Eastern Region newsletter. I also added it to a leaflet that I produced for locals that takes you right to the UE national website, to where the UE stewards are, over 80 different UE stewards, so that if a worker wants to look something up on their own, they click on the code, it takes them right to the national website. Some people don't want to talk about their business until they get a little more information. Maybe it's FMLA, maybe it's ADA, maybe it's whatever. But if they get this QR code, they can go and do a little bit of their own research about what the UE's position is on over 80 different topics, member-to-member harassment. And so some new things we're implementing is a small local subsidy. This currently isn't in the budget. We've moved some money around. We've added $2,000 for this upcoming meeting for locals with 50 members or less, that they could get up to $500 to assist them to attend the Eastern Region meeting. Some locals have they got three members, they got 12 members, they got 27 members, they got 47 members. They don't have a whole lot of extra income, to send people twice a year to Eastern Region meetings. So this is a way to encourage small locals who might find a financial difficulty to come out and participate in the Eastern Region meetings. And that's what we need. We need more locals to participate. Right now, we're just around 50% of the locals come to the region meetings. Another thing that I'm going to start doing, I've been planning on it for a couple of months now, is to have a Eastern Region President Zoom call, to invite all the Eastern Region local presidents onto a Zoom call. Let's have a conversation. Let's get to know each other, because again, half of the local presidents don't make it to the Eastern Region meetings. This is a way to reach out and allow them to get in touch, to get plugged in. My history is important in this election because I'm bringing 37 years of institutional knowledge about UE. I was hired by my employer in 1983 as a temp worker, so I have the experience of a temp worker. It was an independent union, so I was part of an independent union. I held several offices in that union. We affiliated with UE, so I have that experience of going through an affiliation. I was the first and only president elected of Local 651 because within about 18 months our plant closed. So I went through a plant closing, went through bankruptcy procedures. These are all experience that I had firsthand as a member of my local. And in 1991, I was hired as a field organizer. I was hired because I had been so active in the union, and that the national officers seen a lot of me. The district president back then seen me at everything, and they were, I guess, impressed. So I got a job, and in over 35 years, I worked all across this country, Western Region, Eastern Region, every old districts that we used to have. I worked in Right to Work for Less, Virginia, a southern state, open shop at UE 123. Daikin used to be an old Westinghouse plant. There was also 124, which was slated to close when I got there. We were able to keep that plant open for another 3 years. That was an old GE local. I represented UE Local 642 in Harbor Creek Youth Services up in Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania, a place where they care for troubled youth. I represented Local 121, Clendenin Brothers, where they make nails, rivets, and other similar screws, I think, other similar products. At 121, Lock Insulator. They make ceramic insulators. They're closed now. 335 at Battenfeld Grease. 625 at AB&B, where they make industrial circuit breakers. Local 690 at Kenson Plastics. 684 at Electric Materials Company, Temco. And they do some amazing machinist work up there. At Local 683, that plant just closed in the last 2-3 months. That was a scrapyard. And I've represented a lot of other locals, but it's been a long time, and a lot of those places aren't here anymore. I negotiated a contract for Local 622 out in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where they also make ceramic insulators. I organized workers at Local 222 in Connecticut, at Local 228 at the Service Center up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I played a pivotal role in that victory of almost 600. It was over 600 people at that time. At UE 119 at ESS in New Jersey, and at Local 642, we did have a shop there when I was representing them, but we had teachers who were non-union and they wanted to join. So I helped them go through what's called an accretion process, and that's bringing in non-union workers into a union shop. It doesn't just happen. There's a process for it. I organized Local 667, the East End Food Co-op. I organized Local 728 in Kentucky, another SCA local of a few hundred people, several hundred people. At 1488 New Mexico State University, I was there before the cards dropped, and I was there to the day we submitted the cards to the institution for recognition. And that very next day, I got on a plane to be the region president. I organized workers at Local 716 in Ohio, 1177 in California, 977 throughout Texas, in New Orleans, Louisiana, and And I've also been fundamentally since the beginning of UE 150. I was there when they were still the Housekeeper Association. I was there 30 years ago when they got their charter. I was at their first convention, and I've been supporting them and been asked to support them all along. I've represented mom and pop shops, multinational corporations, Christian employers, nonprofits, pre-majority unions. This is a place where 50 people signed a card that they wanted a union out of 600. And we exercised our rights as a union. We didn't have a contract, but we still had rights. And I represented Local 601 for a good period of time. I've assisted in what's called liberations, where you have a mob union in place and we kick them out because the workers want liberated from that mob union. I faced off with police of all levels, including military police with automatic weapons, and we backed them down and maintained our ground. We had a right to hand out leaflets at the work site, and we backed them down. My office in Virginia was raided by the FBI one time. I was held hostage one time at gunpoint in a house for over an hour in Rockford, Illinois. I've faced numerous situations where people pulled pistols on me or came out with rifles, because when you knock on many doors as I have in my career, you're going to run into a couple nuts once in a while that really are animated against a union. And I represented members in unemployment hearings, unfair labor practice procedures, National Labor Relations Board election processes, so all through those processes. I'm currently the second most senior employee of UE. What I think is another most important trait is that I have institutional knowledge as a member, as a local president, a field organizer, a regional president, national vice president, GEB member. I was also elected as the first president of the staff union, and I served multiple years holding that position. And so holding all these positions over 30 years gives me a myriad of perspective and experiences. I've seen the union from the front, the back, the bottom, and the top, and every place in between. In a time where we are losing so much institutional knowledge, it's even more critical to keep some people around who have proven experience. We're about to lose Brian Martindale, Western Region President, 40 plus years of service with UE. One of our folks from the GEB on the Eastern Region with 40 plus years of service, and many of those on the GEB, also is stepping away. Carl Rosen has retired, and it's another 40 plus year guy. So we need to maintain folks in office at the highest levels who do have institutional knowledge as new people are being brought up. And I tell you all this to say that I'm a proven president with a world of experience and experiences. I get around to all parts of the region. I educate and I bring energy to locals I visit. I'm always handing out the Them and Us pamphlet and talking about digging for gold, looking for new leaders. And so I've initiated so many things that have never been done before. Some people have called me the best president or the hardest working president, and I really don't accept that. I appreciate the kind words, but I know Deb Gorno was the best president in my book, and I know some of the staff and the national officers work really freaking hard, even though people don't see that as much. And so I'm asking for your vote. In the email I sent, there are some links. I'd ask you to look at those links, especially the Eastern Region, UE Eastern Region website that has the newsletters. Take a look at some of those. There are videos of me speaking at national events in Washington, D.C. for the Memorial Monday campaign, New York City, speaking on behalf of Gaza and ending the genocide in Gaza. Each of these, there were thousands of people at both of these. These were not UE events. East Palestine, Ohio, when the railroad disaster hit. There's a video I made of my tour of the region some years ago. It shows up pretty much all your locals. A lot of your locals are in that video. So take a look at that. But this shows my work. And I feel they are powerful in several ways. Finally, I'd like to ask all local presidents to consider sharing this video and the links with your members. I think it's important for any way we can to get our members plugged in to the local, to the region, to the national, and this exposes them a little bit to the region. And maybe somebody looks this stuff over and says, "Yeah, I want to be part of that," and that's a good thing. So thank you all. Be safe, and I look forward to seeing you all in March in Philadelphia. I encourage you to come and cast your vote. I hope to have your vote. Thank you very much. In solidarity, George.